So I'm in the middle of the desert in search of a tank for the shop's lot. Apparently, there's an authentic Sherman tank for sale that was used, get this, in Iwo Jima during World War II. It doesn't get much better than that. So, are we close?
Almost there. 5 more minutes out. That's it right there. That's the Sherman.
Wow.
All right, we're here.
Look at that tank.
Holy that is amazing.
The tank the guys are looking at right now is an M4A3 Sherman. What makes this tank special, it's the only Sherman tank in private hands that was actually used in the Pacific Theater. Real Marines jumped into during Iwo Jima, and now they can relive that history as well.
This is incredible. So this thing actually saw action in Iwo Jima.
This one did. It did see action. It was knocked out 3 times in the first 24 hours. It was finally taken out of service when they hit the turret at the turret bearing, and we met the gentleman who had to back it out. He's still alive today.
I look at it, I just find it incredible because, I mean, it's from Iwo Jima. I mean, it's like when they raised the flag on Mount Suribachi, I mean, it's probably the most iconic photo of all of World War II.
Well, guys, there's a major problem with this tank. It's made out of wood.
You know what that's for? The Japanese had magnetic mines, sticky mines that they would run up and stick to the side of a tank. So the Marines had to improvise and put wood paneling on the side and on the wheels of the track. So these guys were figuring this out and improvising as best they could to protect themselves.
Okay. And everything works inside?
Everything works.
How much you want for this thing?
I'm looking to get $1.5 million.
Okay, but we get to drive it?
You can drive it and you can shoot it.
It's pretty damn cool. You need to go call Corey. Tell him to come down here. He's not gonna want to miss this, okay?
All right.
Can you, like, point it into a direction so I'm in a straight line?
You can do that, too.
The guy's asking $1.5 million, and that kind of money, I'm thinking about it, but before I do anything, I'm gonna have to drive it, and I'm gonna have to fire it.
Okay, here we go. Yee-hoo! Yeah, Rick. World War II tanks are always going to have an iconic place in a collector's mind. And when thinking about World War II tanks, you think Sherman tank. But the Shermans were reliable, they were quick, they were easy to fix, and they had good firepower. So if you want a World War II tank, you want a Sherman. Yee-hoo! Nice, man.
What's up, guys? I drove a tank.
Now let's see you get out of a tank.
Ah,
You need a shoehorn or?
no, I don't need a shoehorn.
You need a stepladder?
I just want you to bask in this for a minute.
Oh my God!
That was amazing!
Nice job, Rick.
The door of that car was up for like 4 seconds.
Oh, man, this has been the greatest day of my life, by the way. Not when you were born, Corey, no.
This is much better than that, I'm sure.
You did a good job, Pops.
Oh, look at that car.
What do you think, Alex?
I mean, it is what it is. It speaks for itself. Shermans are the most desired American tank from World War II. It runs well, it fires well, it's got historical provenance from Iwo Jima. There's one that we know of that sold in the last year that wasn't documented to being at any major battle in the World War II, and it was sold for $1.2 million. So at $1.5 million, I think that's a fair price.
Okay, let's get out of here. I'll meet you at the Humvee.
You know, I mean, when me and Alex started discussing me buying a tank, I was thinking I could get into something like this for a couple $100,000 because they made like 50,000 of these, right?
A little more than that.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's got amazing history. Everything about it, it's absolutely great. But it's so out of the ballpark for me, man. But I really, really appreciate the day. It's been an unbelievable day. At least I got a flamethrower out it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, man. Amazing day.
Earlier, a guy brought in a 1940 Indian Chief with a sidecar that was used in World War II. It's a sweet bike, but the guy won 60 grand. And I can't shell out that kind of money without getting a second opinion from my guy, Chris, first.
Wow, this thing is clean. I'm speechless. To see an Indian Chief like this, it's pretty rare. Most of the time you'll see them at museums. You rarely see them running around on the street. It was one of the most reliable bikes that the military had.
What makes it so reliable?
The way the engines were built and the transmissions, they were a lot more sturdier than the Harley-Davidson ones. The Harley ones would bog out, die, and then that would leave a guy stranded.
Yeah, I guess in battle you want reliable.
Oh yeah, if you gotta hightail it, you gotta hightail it, get out of there.
How fast do you think this thing would go, you know, fully loaded with 3 guys and a machine gun?
50, 55. I mean, if it's like a dirt road, you don't want to be going too crazy. The guy will fly out of the sidecar bouncing so much.
You look like a sidecar kind of guy.
Oh, that's how my first kid was born, in a sidecar. So why'd you bring me down here, man? This thing's beautiful.
You know, I need to know what it's worth.
Before I give a price, I mean, I'd like to take a ride in it, see how the suspension is in that sidecar.
You bet.
I'm really excited to go on a test ride. I know how sidecars are. They're fun, but they're bouncy.
There's just no cool way to ride this sidecar.
It's like a roller coaster almost. Yeah, man, it's really smooth. Yeah, it rides nice like a Cadillac.
So what do you think, man?
Man, it rode nice. It sounds tops.
So, Chris, man, what do you think it's worth?
Well, I seen not too long ago, just the bike alone sold for $40,000. The sidecar, you're probably looking at $5,000, $6,000.
I think that's actually a little bit low on the sidecar with original frame and stuff. What about the historical relevance? It's got a nice piece of history, and it is the classic 40s Indian.
It's still history, yes,
Yeah.
and it still has a value. With the market today, I'd put a price on this at about $46,000.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, brother, thanks, man. It didn't seem like he was too happy with that price because he's dumped so much money into this, and sometimes you don't get that money back.
What's your bottom number, man?
I came in thinking the bottom line would be 46,000.
I just had one of these at an auction. I got 42,000 for it.
With the sidecar?
Sidecar.
Was it as nice as this?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't as nice as this, but it was pretty damn close. I'll give you 38 grand for it.
That's a little bit too low. I can't do that. I think
38's a high number for me, man. I'm not gonna be making that much profit off of it.
I mean, I just got to cover all my costs. I got to get 40 out of it. And I hate to disagree with your expert, but you're looking at, 50 grand. I really can't go back for less than 40 grand.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for motorcycles, man. I'm not gonna lose it over 2 grand. 40 grand.
Let's take a plan.
All right,
Thanks.
Sean, you wanna write them up?
Okay.
Put it under your name, buddy.
$40,000 buy under my name? Yep. All right, come on.
So I got $40,000 I'm going to use for the tuition and for books and for dorm, but there's a lot of me in the motorcycle. Saying goodbye is, it's like saying goodbye to an old friend.
I'm out on the East Coast. I'm trying to find some unique items for the shop, and today I'm looking at a completely original 1944 Willys Army Jeep. From what I've been told, this Jeep has all the original parts. It's completely stock, and apparently the test drive is going to be really fun. How's it going?
It's going well, man. How are you?
I'm Rick.
TC, nice to meet you.
So this is the Willys Jeep.
Yeah, this is a 1944 Willys Jeep. It's been pretty much fully restored. It's in great shape, runs awesome.
They made them so they're really simple, really reliable. They're four-wheel drive, so they'd basically go anywhere. And they tried to make them GI-proof, but I don't think anything's actually GI-proof.
I called Rick to come take a look at my 1944 Willys Jeep. I'm selling the Jeep now because I just bought a house and I'm starting a family and I really just don't have any room for it.
This is incredible. And it's a Willys, too, which is really cool. Most people don't realize that originally there wasn't a company called Jeep. The whole Jeep name sort of happened, and there's a few different theories on it. The one theory I like the best is Popeye actually had this invisible magic dog in some of his episodes, and its name was Jeep.
Oh, wow.
And the thing was, like, indestructible. It could do, like, anything. And then the other theory is it was the general purpose vehicle, the GP.
Okay,
Which sort of translates into Jeep.
that makes sense.
They were incredible vehicles for their time. And after the war, everyone that was in the Army that drove these things around loved them. So Willys started making civilian models, and they did well. But Willys ended up changing hands so many times, and eventually it was bought out by American Motors, and they just dropped the whole Willys name completely, and it was just the Jeep. You know, it's sort of been an icon ever since World War II. I mean, it's got a really short wheelbase. It's got four-wheel drive. As long as you don't plan on going really fast, you can get over just about anything.
Yeah.
I have a 1973 CJ5, and it's not freeway friendly. So, where did you get this thing?
I actually got it off a buddy of mine who was a Marine. He fully restored it.
God, it looks in great shape, and everything's stock underneath the hood?
Yeah, it's got all the original parts.
I'm pretty impressed, actually,
I mean, it's in really good shape.
because usually these things were so bastardized, it was unbelievable. So many guys bought surplus Jeeps from World War II, and then they tried to customize them, and then a lot of them just tried to keep them running with, you know, bubble gum and duct tape.
Right.
So it's rare you find them that are completely original like this.
Yeah, it's pretty stock.
So how much are you looking to get out of it?
Well, I was thinking 25.
Does the gun come with it?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. I have a buddy that's like an hour from here, and he would know a lot more about this than me. Do you mind if I get him down here to take a look at it?
Sure.
All right.
I'm actually glad that there's an expert coming to look at this Jeep because I know it's in very good condition, and I think Rick's gonna buy it.
This thing is gorgeous. What year is it?
1944.
All right. So in July 1940, the U.S. Army sees that they're probably going to get pulled into World War II. They realized they needed a sort of all-purpose utility vehicle that was four-wheel drive. Willys was actually granted the first contract. The cool thing is, Willys goes on to start making the CJ series, the civilian Jeep series. And really, the Jeeps that are made today are very recognizable, having this been their sort of grandfather, and the design really hasn't changed all that much. So the thing I need to do is basically establish how original this is. The more original parts, the more valuable it is.
Okay.
The biggest thing I look for on a Willys is right here is a data plate. The serial number is consistent with 1944, so no question that the body or the tub and the frame are original 1944. That is great. The next thing we need to do is check the engine. Can you help me pop this?
Sure.
Well, I don't have to look that hard. That is a post-war engine. A CJ engine from the 1940s, which is very popular to do with these Jeeps. They're a little bit more reliable, but for a collector purist, they want a World War II engine.
Okay.
It's still a gorgeous Jeep, and I think actually the last thing we need to do is...
You guys want to take it for a spin?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've even got some helmets for you.
I'm good.
Safety first, Rick.
I don't consider that a safe helmet. There we go. All right.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Cadillac. Yeah!
This is so awesome.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That was cool.
I gotta admit, I'm deeply impressed.
TC, thank you so much.
Sure.
That was so fun.
So I'm assuming it runs perfect.
It runs perfect. It handled everything it was supposed to handle.
So what do you think it's worth?
I think you could get $25,000 for it, Rick.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. I think this is a great buy because it appeals to Jeep collectors and military collectors, so it's a broader base.
All right, so what's your best price on it?
Well, I was hoping to get 25.
You take 18?
I can't go that low, man. I can come down, but not that far. 23?
How about 19 grand?
I'm gonna have expenses. I gotta ship this thing back to the West Coast.
I don't know if I can go that low. Out of 22.
I'll make it plain and simple. I'll give you 20 grand. It's more than a fair price.
All right, 20.
Sweet. Let's go do some paperwork and
right.
I get this thing shipped to Vegas.
Cool. I decided to take the 20,000 because I really just need this Jeep going. I'm gonna take the money and put an addition on the back of my house.
So what in the hell do we have here?
This is a 1941 M3 armored scout car for the Army.
This looks like something right out of MASH. Is this thing bulletproof?
Yes, it is.
Sweet.
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my M3 armored scout car. I paid $25,000 for this truck. I was hoping to get $28,000 if possible. I'm sure it can only appreciate. It's like gold, it can only go up.
So where did you get this thing?
I was driving through Barstow, and my son saw it, and he's a military buff, and we found it at a tow yard. They said it was all original, and I had to have it, so I went in there and bought it.
And now you're tired of it?
No, I'm going to prospect up in Alaska, and I need some money, and going to go on to the next adventure.
Okay.
It's not every day that someone rolls up the shop in an armored vehicle used in World War II. If this truck is genuine, I know some military collectors who will go nuts over it.
I mean, it does look cool. It would be fun to drive it up and down the strip every once in a while. So let's see what it's got under the hood.
Let's do it.
Damn, this thing's heavy.
Meant to stop a bullet.
That's definitely not a 1941 motor. That's like a late 80s, early 90s Dodge turbo diesel. Do you know how many miles are on it?
Very low. Had it in the garage the whole time. Other than that, I don't know that much more about it.
So it's a different steering column.
Well, this is how I bought it, so I don't know what's been changed on it or whatnot, but
Someone's restored it somehow or the other. I mean, it's got a brand new paint job on it, I'll tell you that. To tell you the truth, I have no idea what a 1941 Scout vehicle goes for. If we can drive this down to a buddy shop of mine, he actually deals in this kind of stuff, and we can get it all checked out.
I'm all for that.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to going to the expert, take a look at this, and we'll know where we stand.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Hey, guys.
This is why we came by.
Wow. I'm the owner of Army Trucks, Inc. We supply military vehicles to motion pictures, TV, commercials. This is a 1941 Scout car, it looks like. They're made from the late 30s to about 1944. They use these to go ahead of the tanks to scout out the enemy. So, Rick, what are your concerns?
It looks like a lot of stuff on it's been replaced, so we basically have a 1941 body here.
When I'm analyzing a truck like this, I basically look for originality, I look for obvious flaws. Wow. Guys, I see some numbers here, which lend some authenticity to the vehicle. I'm gonna keep looking. Well, 1/4-inch armor, that's good. Let's pop the hood. It's definitely the correct hood, but that's not correct. Modernized.
Yeah, that's what's concerned me. Like, everything underneath looks modernized.
So, Rick, you want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the bad news.
Well, the bad news, this thing is pieced together.
Okay.
The only thing original is probably the first foot of this truck. And this looks like an M3 chassis, but everything after that underneath looks like a modern pickup truck.
So what's the good news?
The good news is somebody put a lot of time and effort and money into making this thing to look like this. As a vehicle collector myself, it does have the wow factor.
So what's a wow factor worth?
A pristine one of these is worth about $100,000, original one. This, I think, up to $20,000.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's not an original 1941 Army truck, but it still looks badass. There's definitely a market for military reproduction vehicles, so I'm still interested in buying it.
I came here thinking one thing, now I have to think about something completely different. So before we talk money, let me take this thing for a spin, okay?
Sounds good to me.
All right, you guys ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's get some wow factor going.
This thing is a hell of a lot of fun to drive. I'm definitely interested, so long as this guy keeps in mind it's not a 100% all-original military truck. Hopefully, we'll come together on a price.
Yeah!
Woo!
What do you think? Pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty badass, but what the hell am I going to do with it? That's my problem I'm thinking about. So realistically, what are you looking to get out of this thing?
Well, I know I paid $25 for it, and now that I know from your expert what it's worth, I know that's gone. But I got to have at least 19 or 20.
It's just not going to happen, man. I'll go 11 grand, but it's going to be really difficult to sell. You know, when I first looked at it, cool, old World War II collectible Army truck, it's not that. I mean, basically, you got a 20-year-old truck here with a bunch of steel bolted to it.
Still paid $25,000 for it.
What you paid for it is immaterial to me.
and it has value. It has intrinsic value.
Limited market.
How about $15,000?
It won't happen.
$11,000? I mean, I'm taking a bath with that. I might as well just park it in my backyard and make a bird bath out of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I just can't. That's what I can do.
Well, I appreciate you looking at it.
Sorry we couldn't make a deal, man.
Kind of disappointed. 11,000 is kind of a slap in the face. I'd rather have the wow factor myself. It's still a cool item. It's a cool piece. I'll park it back in the garage. 4th of July, come down where we're at and see the parade.